Hey, what's going on guys? Nick from Kizaru Gaming here, and today I want to show you guys my Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck profile. I took it to my locals this past Sunday on Valentine's Day and ended up actually getting first place with it. The deck is super fun, it's super high ceiling, there's so many combos and routes that you can play with it, so many starters, so many extenders, and it is honestly one of the most fun combo decks that I've played in, honestly, years. It brings so much to the table in terms of versatility, and I honestly thoroughly enjoyed playing it. I'm going to tell you guys about my matchups, and then I'm going to tell you guys how the deck fared against certain decks, and then we're going to get into the deck profile. So my first round was actually against Gravekeepers. Game one, he went first, set 2 cards and passed, I believe. Didn't have a great opening hand. I ended up just OTKing. And then game 2, he actually dropped the Necro Valley on me. And if you've been playing Bird Up for a while, you know Necro Valley is super detrimental, especially to the Tri-Brigade engine, excuse me. Necro Valley is super hard to out. I honestly didn't side. I didn't think I needed to. I also didn't know what he was playing because a set monster was not a Gravekeeper's monster. I do not remember what it was, but I know it wasn't a Gravekeeper, so I did not blindside. And then game 3, I built a board. He set another monster, set 2 cards, and passed. And then I just OTK'd him through there. Round 2 was actually up against Altergeist, and I won that matchup 2-0. I went first game 1. He couldn't really out the bird board with Avian. I went for Avian instead of Barrier Statue because Barrier Statue doesn't do much against Altergeist. It only really prevents your multi-faker summoning. That's really all it does, and the Avian was enough for that. Game 2, he did go first, but I opened up Lightning Storm evenly. I cleared most of his board, but that was the only hand that entire tournament that I did not draw combo. So basically, I just had to pass turn. He tried to recover, really wasn't able to. Had 2 cards set. I top decked another Lightning Storm, got rid of it. I think he drew Marionetter, and he summoned that. He set Protocol, passed. I went for turn, and I just OTK'd him after I drew a starter. Game 3 was against, or I'm sorry, round 3 was against Virtual World. My good friend Ryan's playing Virtual World. I ended up getting matched against him. He's a very good player. Round 1, he opened no hand traps. I built the board. He really couldn't out it. He ended on Fan, I believe Gossip Shadow, just trying to prevent me from getting more pluses off of Bird of Sovereignty. Sorry, I just kind of had a mind fart there. He didn't really want me to get more pluses off of Sovereignty, so he wanted to make sure that he can Gossip Shadow negate it. But I ended up drawing another starter anyway, so I was just able to go from there. The hardest part about Virtual World outing the bird board is the fact that you cannot target the winged beast. So if you have your Avian or if you have your bird statue up, them not being able to target it is super detrimental, and it's really hard to out. We moved on to game 2. I was able to beat him from there. Game 2, he opened up super bad, a really unplayable hand. I think he had 1 route, but he chose to just set the new trap. I forget the name of it. He set that trap and passed, and then I just built the bird board, and then I OTK'd. And then moving on to round 4, I played against Drytron. And I opened up Droll all 3 games. Game 1, I opened up double Droll, and it was a blowout from there, honestly. He won game 2 because he was able to catch up faster than me, but game 3, I just kept trolling him, and it wasn't going anywhere for that deck. So those are my matchups. Honestly, I think that the deck performed super well. I'm definitely going to be making some changes to it in the future. I might be trying out the Rescue Cat version of the deck. I would also like to preface 2 things. Number 1, there are 2 face-down cards in this deck. I did borrow 2 cards from my friend. It is Recital Starling and Kit, but I will show you those when I get to the deck profile. Also, number 2, I forgot to put in Tri-Brigade Rendezvous. It was supposed to be in my deck, but it wasn't, and I ended up still going 4-0. So I don't know how I did it, but I did it because it came up like 3 times where I needed it because I wasn't able to end on the Link Rebo to protect my bird. They just attacked over my bird, but wasting a battle phase, you're not getting OTK'd. They have to put up a board because the amount of starters and extenders in that deck is ridiculous. So we're going to be moving on to the deck profile. Alright, so getting off into the profile, first off we play triple Turquoise Warbler. This is probably one of your best starters in terms of the Lyrilusc engine. It is definitely the best starter for the Lyriluscs. If you control no monsters, you can special summon it, and then you could also special Lyrilusc from your hand or grave. I did not know that it was also grave. I went the entire tournament playing it as if it was only hand, and it definitely probably would have come up. I can't remember an exact situation where it would have helped, but it probably would have if I had known that. But I ended up going 4-0 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Next up, I play triple Cobalt Sparrow. I know some people play 2 of this. I like 3 ofs because it is, if you open Warbler Cobalt or Sapphire Cobalt, you definitely have all the way extenders, all of your combos, and you definitely get the best boards you can out of it. I do like opening this card. I do play double of the Sapphire Swallow because it is one of your extenders. It can summon Nerval. It can summon Cobalt Sparrow. Honestly, I've used it to summon a DD Crow that I've searched off of Recital Starling just because I wanted extenders. It helps you extend into combos, and then it helps you extend into OTKing. So that's it for the Lyrilusc engine that I play in the main deck. Now moving on to the Tri-Brigades, we have triple Fractal, definitely one of your best starters. It's only really second to Nerval, only because this is not a Windwing beast, but Nerval is. So you definitely want to see Fractal in your opening hand. We played 3 Tenki to search it. Next up, we have triple Nerval, Windwing beast, which is super beneficial for this deck because a lot of things have to do with it being level 1 Windwing beasts. When this is sent to grave, you get to search any Tri-Brigade. A lot of times I always search either Fractal if I don't have it, or Karas. Because Karas is just a free extender. Even normal summoning it is pretty great. So speaking of Karas, we do play 2 Karas and 1 kit. This is a kit. I had to borrow it from my friend for the tournament. So Karas is super good. It's an extra extender, and they all have the same effects of banishing to special summon. Kit is also super fun. I don't think I want to play more than 1 kit. Just for my version of the deck that I'm playing right now, I think it only really needs 1 kit. It's really honestly just to send Nerval to search or to send Rendezvous to get you the protection for your barrier statue. Also, it gets you just extra link material if you need it in your graveyard. I came up on Sunday, one time it came up where I sided Kit out because I did not have the Rendezvous and I didn't think I needed it. And I was actually 1 material short after sending a Fractal to send Nerval. If I had the kit, I would have OTK'd that turn, but it ended up not going that way. Because I sided out the kit. Alright, so that is it for the Tri-Brigades that I play. I might bump Karas up to 3 in the future. I'm going to be trying out new decks. I might play the Rescue Cat version of the deck, so I might put Karas to 3. Next up, we have 2 Kinkabio. I do play the Jack-in-the-Hand version of this deck, so it's level 1 turbo. Kinkabio is honestly one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Back in 2015, when I first started playing, it was Breakers of Shadows format, so whatever year that was. One of the first decks that actually had some kind of consistency that I played was, I say consistency very loosely, it was Hope for Escape Exodia, and I did play 2 Kinkabio because you just loop Mystic Piper with this. It was super fun, and it just reminds me of, one of the best times I enjoyed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the first times where, back then, when I played this deck, the biggest problem was Utopia the Lightning. There wasn't a million negate boards. There wasn't, unbreakable, boards. Utopia the Lightning was a problem card. The really only cards that negated were, honestly, Cyber Dragon Infinity is the only card I could think of in that format that was like, oh, I have a negate monster. Obviously, there's always monsters that negate, but Cyber Dragon Infinity was the only one that I really think of when it comes to that format. So moving on from my my I Love Kinkabio rant, we have the Simorgh summons Apex Avian and Stormwinds. Apex Avian's an Omni Negate. Stormwind says your opponent doesn't get to special summon. Both are extremely good. You summon one or the other depending on your situation. Or alternatively, if you summon one, because I did not know for a long time until I started playing this version of the deck that Simorgh is every single end phase. I thought it was only turn player end phase, so your end phase. It is actually both players' end phases that it could summon something. So if you summon Stormwinds during your opponent's end phase, if they pass, you just summon an Avian from deck, and then you have the extra negate. Then you can go OTK through there. So moving on to hand traps, I play the 1 DD Crow. I only play 1 DD Crow because it is searchable, and I built this deck a little bit more for my locals rather than just all-around competitive play in the meta. I don't think DD Crow is super great this format. It does come up against Drytron when they use their Grave effects, or it comes up against Bentens when they try to Meteonis it back. But it's searchable, so I'm only going to play 1 for now. I might bump it up in the future to 3, but we'll see how things go. Secondly, I do play 3 Psy-Frame Gamma and 1 Psy-Frame Driver, which is a Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against the security forces on Currents of Lightning using an automatic amplifier called Psy-Frame. If you are a fan of Sir Emanon, who I will be linking down below, you will get that reference every time if you watch any of his videos. If Driver comes up, he likes to read the flavor text. He's a very good friend of mine and one of the funniest guys I know. So I have to give that little nod to Sir Emanon with the Driver there. But we do main deck 3 Droll and Lockbird, and for the life of me, for the 5 or 6 years that I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I thought Droll and Lockbird was a winged beast. I can't see why this card is not a winged beast, but I thought it was. And this has been around since I started playing. It's been around since I think it's OTS Pack 2. And I forget the original printing, but I know it's been around since I think OTS Pack 2. It was the super rare in. So this card has been around the block. It's been around for a very long time. But I always thought Winged Beast. Apparently it's not, because I tried to search this off Recital Starling. Didn't know you can't do that because this isn't a Winged Beast. It's Spellcaster. And then for the last hand trap I play, it is 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I mean, Ash has been around since 2017. There's not much left you could say about Ash. I do like it for this format. So moving on to the spells, I play Triple Tenki. This just searches your Fractal, and that's really all it's there for. Fractal's a great starter, so you don't really want to not open it. It really gets you to all your plays. The ideal board, or the ideal hand, is opening some Lyrilusc cards and a way to Fractal, because Fractal gets you to all your Tri-Brigade stuff. I am playing the Jack in the Hand, which is a super niche card. I know it is banned for remote duels. I do not play a lot of remote duels. The only ones I really play are with friends, not really in tournament setting. So when I play in IRL tournaments, I do play a Jack in the Hand, and playing in tournaments, I do have my opponent use a proxy card, just so I try to make sure that we're not touching each other's cards. We do adhere to COVID guidelines and everything that the CDC says for us to do. So we try to make sure we cut our own decks, we roll our own dice. So for the Jack in the Hand, it was said before that if anyone plays it, just have a spare card lying around that you can keep in your hand as the replica for the card you take off a Jack in the Hand. But like I was saying, I might play the Rescue Cat version, which I would get rid of the Jack in the Hand. So we'll see how further iterations of the deck go. Next up, we have 4 1-of spells. I play Foolish, Monster Reborn, Called By, and 1-for-1. All of these cards, everyone knows what these do. 1-for-1, half your deck is level 1 monsters. Foolish Burial can send Nerval, which gets you a starter. Can send Cobalt Sparrow if you draw Warbler. Reborn is just a way to extend. So that is it for the main deck, and I am going to be going off into the extra deck. Alright, so moving on, I'm going to show you guys the extra deck and the side deck that I played for this tournament. So I did play both the Assembled Nightingale, and this is Recital Starling. Again, I borrowed that from a friend. I just, for the life of me, cannot find it in bulk anywhere, and no one at the tournament had it, so I had to borrow it. He did not want to sell it because it's literally 30 cents, and he wants to play the deck. He just wasn't playing it on Sunday. So both of the Lyrilusc XZ's monsters definitely went into Recital a lot more than I went into Assembled Nightingale. I think I only summoned Zeus once the entire tournament. It does come up though, so I only played one of each of these. I also played 1 Downard and 1 Zeus. I might cut the Downard because the only time I summoned Zeus, I actually believe I didn't summon Assembled Nightingale at all. I think the only time I summoned Zeus was on top of a Recital Starling, and I already used its effect to search because, I mean, why wouldn't you? So it's kind of not necessary to have Downard in here. I might replace this. And I will tell you what I'm replacing it when I get to some of the other cards. So obviously you play 1 Link Kuriboh, and then we play some Link 2. So I play Harpy's Conductor, Double Dragon Lords, IP Masquerena, and Tri-Brigade Farajit Baron Blossom. I don't see a lot of people playing IP Masquerena. I honestly feel like I'm one of the only people playing IP Masquerena. Which is perfectly fine. I'm not telling you how to play your deck. I'm just telling you how it performed for me. It was honestly super, super beneficial in some situations. I've actually used this twice to summon, I'll actually get to it later. I could just show you now. I used it twice to summon the new Link 5 out of Blazing Vortex, Underworld Goddess of the Cursed World, or the Closed World, I'm sorry. But I'll explain that a little bit more when I get to that card specifically. But I think IP Masquerena is probably going to stay in the main deck. I am probably going to cut the Downard and replace it with a second Farajit. I went into this tournament with 1, and it came up a few times where I honestly missed the second Farajit on turns 2 or 3, and I definitely wanted to have a second one to play. So that's it for the Link 2s, and for the Link 3s, we play 1 Desperate Doom Eagle and Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. This card is nuts. I've never heard of this card. I know it's in 2 sets. It's in the Megatins in 2020, and I forget the first set it's in. But this card is absolutely bonkers. It's a 42 beat stick, and it's a quick effect once per turn DD Crow. So it's actually good to just end on this sometimes. Sometimes against Drytron, you can just end on this, and you could just start DD crowing their targets. You could summon this, and OTK very easily becomes a 42 beat stick. It's honestly, I'm sorry, 48 beat stick. It's honestly super crazy. And then obviously Bird of Sovereignty is the best link in this deck. It is the one you always want to end on in your combo. It summons all your wing beasts from deck, and the targeting protection from this card is absolutely nuts. This card's targeting protection makes Virtual World such a challenge to out this. Even if you just have a couple of cards underneath here, it doesn't even have to be the statue. Virtual World still can't pop stuff, and they have a hard time outing it. So moving on to the Link 4s, I play 3 of them. I play Access Code, the Ominous Omen, and Appaloosa. Appaloosa is a staple. Ominous Omen is a staple. Access Code, I don't think I went into at all. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. But it's still a really good card. Obviously, if it comes up, you can actually link one of these two away and make this huge. Or by chance, you can link away this and make this even bigger, gaining 5,000 attack, making it a 7,300 beat stick. With definitely different types in graveyard to banish different attributes. But then I did play the one Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. I believe it was twice that I used IP. I ended on IP Masquerena, the Dragon Lord's Link, and a Appaloosa Goddess of the Bow for 2, and pass turn. It was just kind of the weird hand I had, but it was definitely against Drytron was one of them. I can't remember which deck I played where I summoned it a second time, but basically I activated IP he normal summoned Manju. I chained Appaloosa to negate it. He chained Herald, and I didn't have another negate, so I didn't want to lose my Appaloosa, so I chained the IP. I took my 4 monsters, and then I took his Manju, and I was able to make Goddess of the Cursed World, and I was able to negate one of the Drytrons in his grave, because this negates grave summoning as well. Not just being able to steal one of your opponent's monsters. And I believe I only summoned it using it on my turn once. It's actually not bad. You kind of want to summon it when you're in a spot where it's free. Because unless you're playing against like Zodiac or the Mirror Match, you're not going to be able to summon it using an opponent's monster after you've Tri-Brigaded already, because Tri-Brigades lock you into using the Wing Beast, or Beast Warriors for the typings for the rest of the turn for link summoning. So you cannot use an opponent's monster to summon this if it is not one of those types after you use Tri-Brigade. So you want to do this early on your turn, or IP on your opponent's turn. But that is pretty much it for the extra deck. I'm going to go into the side deck real quick. Again, I built this deck 15-20 minutes before the tournament started. I slapped the side deck together, and it represented, honestly, 1 Feather Duster and double Lightning Storm. I only own 2 Lightning Storm, otherwise I would play 3. Lightning Storm came up super well against Altergeist, any back row decks. Lightning Storm it's a great card. I play triple Evenly Matched. Evenly's always been a great card. I want to make sure I have a balanced number of side deck cards that are good against back row decks and then combo decks. So Evenly Matched and the first 3 are good for back row. And then for combo decks, we play Triple Dark Ruler No More, because we can destroy some cards and build a board without having to do damage. We do not need to OTK because this deck is so versatile. You can definitely just build a board after blowing up a bunch of your opponent's monsters, just negating everything. We don't want to deal with a full negate board, so Dark Ruler really comes in handy for that. I play double Gamma Seal just to out Dragoons, or Herald of Ultimateness. That's what this is for. And then I play double Nibiru for those combo decks that summon it. I might cut Nibiru. It didn't come up. I sided in against Virtual World. I sided again against Drytron. I didn't see it. I don't know how well it performs. I think I could live without it. And then finally, I played double Anti-Spell Fragrance. So I'm still missing a few cards that I want to get. I do want to get the Dark Simorgh and bump this to 3 in the side deck and side those 4 cards, because that is a lock for spells. And traps, I believe, actually, because you can't set traps, I believe it is. I have to read Dark Simorgh, but I'm pretty sure it is. Your opponent cannot set spells or traps, and this says you must set all of your spells. So the only thing that this loses to is Imperm, but if we have it underneath the Bird of Sovereignty, it protects, I believe. I don't know if it has to protect a wind. I believe it is just winged beast monsters. Your opponent cannot target, winged beast monsters, yep. So that'll protect it. So I'll bump this up to 3, add a Simorgh. the Dark Simorgh, and that would be the changes to the extra deck. So I would get rid of these two and play that instead. Also, I've seen a post today on the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc Duelist page about playing Harpy's Featherstorm, which is actually super cool because it is a Azathoth trap. If you don't know what it does, it negates, as long as you control a Windwing beast monster, it negates any activated card effect of your activated monster effect of your opponent for the entire turn. It's Azathoth. It's crazy. It is not searchable in this deck, but just drawing it is super bonkers. Also, if you control a Harpies, you can activate it from your hand, and in this deck, it is super easy to summon Harpy's Conductor. So you can keep it locked in your hand, and you can drop it whenever you want to. It's a sleeper card. I'm going to try it in the side deck if I keep playing this build, because it is super, super fun. And honestly, it's a crazy blowout card. It might be a win more card, but that's why we're siding it and not main decking it, siding it for going first. So we'll see how that goes. But that is going to be it for my Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck profile, otherwise known as Bird Up. Leave a like and a comment down what you guys want to see next. Always please subscribe for more content. Let me know what videos you guys want to see next. And that'll be it for me. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.